time for shifting some minds. And today's episode on MindShift is truly an extremely special one. My guest today is the world's youngest artistic illusionist and India's young mind genius. Her work has driven her to enthrall and amaze the Emperor and Empress of Japan, the Prime Minister of China and Australia, Queen Sylvia of Sweden, and so many other esteemed ministers and influential people from around the world. She earned her doctorate in magical entertainment and humanities from the United States and has recently also become the youngest special executive officer appointed by the government of Maharashtra to do some phenomenal work for the upcoming generation. She is the only female magician who has, or let me say, she is the only magician who's running a course at the Mumbai University on the subject of magic. Currently, she also runs the Kruti's Magic Academy, where she trains young aspirants to become magicians and transcend the threshold of the mind. Join me in welcoming the author of Behind the Threshold of the Mind and Asia's first and only female mentalist. Before I give her name away, take a look at this.
Human minds can be hacked. The mind can be influenced on psychological suggestive techniques. What really defines you is the way you think and what you think. You have the power to influence your own minds.
Didn't I tell you she's super cool? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm super kicked about today's session where we're talking about how you can increase your influence. So if you want to catch someone who's been lying to you, or you want to be one step ahead of the curve where you can influence minds and drive them to take important, beautiful decisions, then today's session is a big one for you. Join me in welcoming Asia's first and only female mentalist, Dr. Kruti Parekh. Welcome, Dr. Kruti.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am good, and a very, very warm welcome to you. You have no idea, I'm super kicked about today's session because I've always been amazed with magic, but meeting a lady, and that too Asia's first, who's doing this professionally, I think you're so cool.
Thank you so much. And look forward to influencing your mind.
Absolutely. I am already on pins and needles because I have so many questions, and I almost feel like you're going to cast a spell on me and make me ask you the questions which I may have not prepared.
Well, you never know what happens.
Dr. Kruti, once again, thank you so much for making this happen. I'm truly thrilled. My first question to you, I'm super curious to know that, firstly, what is the difference between a magician and a mentalist? Are they the same, or what is it?
So obviously these are all technical terms which are used, magician, illusionist, and obviously there's difference in terms of presentation, in terms of performance, etc. But to explain the difference between a magician and a mentalist, I'm going to take a simple example. Is what does a magician do? A magician will spread a deck of cards and say, pick a card. And then you will pick a card, and then he will ask you to take it back and shuffle it up and then locate your card. Hey, this is your card. What a mentalist does, mentalist will just lay a deck of cards in front of you and ask you to just select a card or just pick one card up. But the thing is, the way the mentalist is speaking to you, the way the mentalist is laying the cards on the table for you, is kind of suggesting and influencing your mind to pick the card that he or she wants you to pick up. So that's the basic difference. So a mentalist is basically playing with the psychology of your mind and
Hmm.
working on different small psychological influences, techniques, etc., to basically make you take a decision that he or she wants you to.
How cool. But then that brings me to, do mentalists have magic powers, or is it, I mean, I know that you're teaching people magic and you're teaching people how to do this, but do you need a certain amount of psychic ability, or is it magical? What is this mystery around it?
So I would like to say that each one of us has this power of being a little different, or this power of being, I think psychic is not the real word for it, but we have this intuitive power. I think intuition is the right word for it. We all
Hmm.
have this intuitive power that we already know, we already have it within us.
Hmm.
The only way is how you can train yourself to use it into day-to-day applications or for entertainment, is what a mentalist does little differently than you.
Hmm.
So to give you a simple example, you may have had a telepathic conversation, right? So
Several times. My mom and me.
exactly.
I
So
can think
for
of
our
one. You can go on.
it's like you think of someone and someone calls, is
Yeah.
what telepathy is. So what if you were able to actually make that happen?
Sounds cool.
Or so now if you want to take it to the entertainment zone, what we would probably do in our shows is, what if I told you to just randomly think of a name and you and I thought of the same name at the same time.
Hmm.
So that's exactly what we do. It's getting these phenomena into real life situations.
I think that's what sparks my curiosity, right? Because I know that even in your intro video, I know you spoke about how the mind can be influenced using, suggestive techniques. Because we human beings, the way we think is either we're rolling in the past or we're worrying about the future. Either we have a past experience or we have a vivid imagination that is always at play. So, when you are working with a person, is it about reading their body language to kind of estimate who this person is, what he may have been through, what matters to him? Or is it about playing with his sense of imagination using the power of suggestion?
So it's about playing with the person's psychology
Hmm.
and the mind and the mindset generally people have.
Hmm.
And this is based not only on an individual, it is based upon the individual's body language,
Hmm.
based upon how the person thinks, how
Hmm.
the person speaks, how the person's vibes are when you meet them.
Hmm.
So all these things are basically inputs for me to be able to decipher or to know how do I work with this individual in order to try and influence their minds, or maybe read their minds, or maybe come to a point where I know this is what is going to be the outcome of this conversation or this event.
Okay. So, for all you guys who are watching right now, I am pretty sure you might also have a lot of questions. The way I'm bubbling with curiosity, and I am going to be like, I have like, I don't know how many questions. I had to be really conservative, saying, okay, I have limited amount of time. But I think what you do is so cool. And you guys, whatever questions you might have, hit the comments box, ask Dr. Kriti, whatever you'd like to about how you can influence minds, how you can be a step ahead of the curve. And talking about that, I just had a comment come in.
Mhm.
So 2 weeks back, last fortnight, because I do mind shift every fortnight, I had Dr. Sunil Gupta, who
Mhm.
is a creativity and an innovation expert. And he just put in a comment, or a question rather, saying, can you take all of us to a remote beach?
Absolutely, absolutely. Dream vacations are what is really working in this period of lockdown for us. So, Mr. Sunil Gupta, anytime you want to go to a remote beach, it's just going to be done.
I think the last time when we did the session with him, he spoke about Sri Lankan Airways being so innovative as an airline, where during COVID, they launched a service saying a flight to nowhere. So you're bored sitting at home, so almost like you pay for the giant wheel. तुम चलो फ्लाइट पे तुम्हें उधर ही उसके ऊपर घुमा घुमा के वापस छोड़ देंगे. So
Right,
that's what Sri Lankan Airlines innovation was happening during COVID. So
right.
I would be super kicked
So
to
I
travel.
do. I in fact in one of my shows that I do, my mind shows that I do because of this lockdown. I have an entire act which talks about dream vacation, where I actually let the entire audience members decide where they want to go on a vacation with details. So we are actually doing the whole planning process for all the travel geeks who are like stuck at home at this point of time. They will actually decide what location they want to go to, which airline would they like to go to, which hotel they would like to stay in, which suite number, how many dollars they want to spend on shopping, etc. And I do have a predicted envelope which actually predicts all of that. So there's amazement as well as the dream vacation. So maybe Sunil Gupta, you could actually come in for my next show and we'll actually take you to a remote beach.
I am going to get into what you're doing online, and I think what you do as a profession, it is such an experiential activity. Like, I'm truly curious to know how you would be creating this online. But before that, I would like to know why mentalism? What led you onto this path? It is such a different and a unique decision to take. What led you onto this?
So, as you know, I started off performing magic at the age of 5.
Hmm.
So that journey was always there. I was performing all around the world, everything. And when I got into my engineering,
Hmm.
that's where, I said, now what? What is the
Hmm.
next level that I can actually take this to?
Hmm.
And obviously, what really intrigued me, like all of us, is the mind.
Hmm.
So how do you work on the mind? How do you influence the mind? How can we really, can this thing called mind be worked upon
Hmm.
and influenced? So I think that is something which sparked my curiosity. And then I started reading about mind. I started understanding mind. And that's where I stumbled upon the fact of the psychology of magic,
Hmm.
wherein everything you do is done with a purpose. There may be a magical effect that you're performing for an audience, but there is a whole thought process behind it. Why
Hmm.
does it work that way? How
Hmm.
does it work that way? So there are a lot of principles of camouflage. These are all technical things which were there, which was very intriguing for me, even as an engineer, because you
Hmm.
understand these different phenomena of light, sound, physics, mechanics, everything filled together, and you're also understanding the psychological element. Is how do you put the cards in front of the audience to pick up this card? It has a
Hmm.
process behind it. So I think that's where the entire journey actually began. And then I started studying psychology. I started practicing it on different people, and I also took a lot of help from the Indian shastras, but there's a
Hmm.
lot of philosophical material which can be translated into psychological proven facts. And I
Hmm.
think that really helped, because I also feel somewhere spiritual stuff is also based on psychology.
Right.
Like, to just give you a simple example, people, we always say, right, jo hoga achhe ke liye hoga.
Hmm.
It's just, you just leave your thoughts behind and you just believe in the fact that everything is going to happen for the good, and then things do turn out for the good because you stop worrying about it so much. So there is a psychological element behind everything that you do. And then comes, so it has again correlations to affirmations, it has correlations to the secret which says, manifest what you want, etc. So I think everything is somewhere then connected, and that kind of really got me in this field, and I said, this is what I want to do.
Which is so cool. And what makes you stay on this path? Like, is it the unpredictability, and you are someone who loves that adrenaline rush of not knowing how each performance goes, or what keeps you on this path? Because I also read that you do a lot of work, and whatever majority of the money that you make from this, you donate. And that's what makes me wonder, like, what keeps you on this path? Putting yourself at risk time and again and doing this, and what's the motivation?
So I'd like to say two things about it. That it's very important for you to be happy. If you're
Hmm.
happy and content in a particular field or phase that you are in, I think beyond that point, the money really doesn't matter. So if you can, and I think as a human being, you're not just born into this world to earn money and become maybe the next Bill Gates or the next Ambani.
Hmm.
There is much more value you have as an individual, and that's what I try to do in my small little way that I can. Uh, Talking about the part as to what really keeps me going onto this field is, yes, of course, the adrenaline rush that you get, because how do you practice this? If there's a trick, you can practice it. If there is singing, dancing, playing an musical instrument, you can practice hours in front of a mirror
Hmm.
and then go and perform on stage. How do you practice this? Because every mind is going to be different,
Right.
every person is going to think differently, every person is going to react differently to every statement that you make.
Hmm.
Say for example, I ask you to think of a number. You may think
Okay.
of, okay, you may think of the number 7.
Hmm.
Somebody else may think of number 2, somebody else may think
Hmm.
of something else. So I
Hmm.
think you cannot really know what is the number they're thinking of, and it's a very generic term that I'm asking you to think of,
Hmm.
right? So that is something that really keeps me going onto this field, because every day is a challenge, and to master this challenge and be able to give them an output what they want
Hmm.
or what they're thinking of is amazing. So I'm just going to tell you one small thing, okay, and just start
Hmm.
off with this right now. Can you see? Okay, and I'm genuinely going to say this because it's since you've raised this point, I'm going to say this. So I have this pad which has names of different countries on it. Can you? Sorry, cities. I think, yeah, cities on it.
Hmm.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are different cities which are written onto this. I'm
Hmm.
just going to just snap through this
Hmm.
randomly at any point where you like,
Hmm.
wherever you like. You
Hmm.
are going to say stop to me, okay? Wherever you like.
Okay. Stop.
Right here?
Right here.
You want me to go a little more down, up? It's your choice. I don't do anything.
I leave it to you to do what you
No, no,
like.
no, it's your choice. You want me to start off again? I will start off again. Tell me, where do you want to go? Just say stop anywhere you'd like to. Make up
Stop.
your mind. Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay, you have randomly asked me to stop at any location that you wanted.
Right.
Is that correct? I gave
Yeah.
you another chance to start off again. So obviously the positions are different this time.
Yeah.
You have come to this word. Can you see what the word is?
Yeah.
What is this place?
Moscow.
Moscow. All right. Do you have your phone handy with you?
Yes, I do.
And are you following me on Facebook?
I'll do that right now.
Okay. I want you to go to my Facebook,
Okay, I'm
and I
here.
want you to go to my stories.
Right.
And in stories, I've made a prediction before we actually even started this entire session.
Okay, now you're spooking me, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want you to see. So you will have, I think you will have our picture which talks about today's session, and then you will have another picture, and that is going to say what is your choice going to be. Can you actually go and show it to this camera? Go to my page. It's at the rate official Kruti Parekh. Everyone who's watching this session can actually go and check out my Instagram page.
Okay, hold on, hold on.
Again, I'm repeating, it's at the rate official Kruti Parekh.
Why is it not allowing me to click on your story?
Uh-uh. Strange.
Oh my God. I'm
And you can
curious to
check.
know what is on the story.
Okay, do you want me to show you on my phone? I will do that.
Yeah.
So I go on my stories, you can see, and I'm going to
Yeah.
keep clicking. These are all the stories which I had posted.
Yeah.
Oops. Uh, sorry. Okay. So these are all the stories. Can you see all the stories which are there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there is one last story which has just one view. So it has been posted before we actually began. And I'm going to
Yeah.
click on this, and this is what it says. And you can also check how many minutes
Oh,
before.
oh my
You can
God.
actually go and check it. All of you can actually go and check onto my Instagram page as to
How do you
what.
do it? How do you do it?
Well, it's a secret. If I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
That is so cool, right? Like, see, that's my point. Like, you spoke about so many different, I mean, there's so much that you said with what you said, which is the human mind. It's about, understanding the psychology. It's about, suggestive techniques. It's about affirmations, the secret, manifesting. My question is with all of this, what is the objective? All of us want an amazing life, right? We want to make the most that we can, have the most amount of success and satisfaction. And for that, it all kind of comes back to how we leverage the mind. So, how do you tap into the higher and the different dimensions of the mind?
So it's a very simple process. The first step to it is believing.
Hmm.
And that's, I think, where we all fail.
Hmm.
Because we have such wonderful, amazing people around us
Hmm.
that are constantly telling us, "Tum ye nahi kar sakte ho.
Hmm.
You can't do this. Are you mad? You want to do this?" We have these wonderful people that we have allowed to be around us and influence our minds in this way.
Hmm.
So, if you remember, there was a story about frogs, a group of frogs, and they were actually put in a big box and they were asked to try and get out of the box.
Hmm.
So, the moment one frog would try to get out of the box, the other would pull his leg and put it down.
Hmm.
And then, no matter what it was a difficult path, everything was there. But one frog actually managed to go out of it.
Hmm.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because he was deaf. Because he
That's
could
so
not
cool.
hear all these things which others were hearing as to, oh, it's a difficult path, you can't get out of this box, it's not your cup of tea, are you sure, log kya kahenge, that kind of stuff. That everybody talks about that, and that really keeps us away from what we want to achieve. And that's exactly what I have penned down in my book. If you can see, it's called
Yeah.
Beyond the Threshold of Mind. So we often create this barrier for us, and that's called threshold. Again, technical person, so using technical words. Threshold, how to go beyond the threshold of mind, is what is the thing that I practice in my life, as well as I want people to do.
I am going to come to the kind of daily practices and rituals you get into, but maybe for the people who've just joined the stream, today I have with me Asia's first and only female mentalist, Dr. Kruti Parekh, who's talking to us about all the different things you can do to increase your influence on others. So, guys, whatever questions you might have, I believe she's also doing a spiritual reading for me after this. I hope so, at least, because apparently, I mean, at least she mentioned to me the last time that she said some things to people and it happens to come true. So I'm curious to know what you're going to tell me after the session. Yeah.
Uh,
But
sure. So, yeah, if you all want, anyone wants anything from Avneet, please, just let me know, just ping me and message me, and I'll say all that is going to happen. Okay. All right. No, no, obviously, I will tell you something for sure, but I'm going to try and influence your mind and and really be able to tell you and explain to you further that how the influence is really possible, how you can really know what the person is actually thinking of. And it's not a difficult task. To give you an example, a mother knows when the daughter or the son just puts his hand in front, the mother knows what to put, right? You
Hmm.
don't have a physical communication, you don't have a speaking talk or a conversation at that time, but how does the
Hmm.
mother know?
Hmm.
It's the same thing. What if you are able to bring that level of understanding or that level of explanation from a stranger person too? That this would be, see, it would never be accurate. So even we fail a lot of times. It happens a lot of times on stage that we're trying to, be able to read somebody's minds, but that person is so closed or is determined to make me fail.
Hmm.
See, as I
Hmm.
told you, log kya kahenge, people have different mindsets. People can't see other people being successful or being nice. So there are a lot of people who come in, and I think that's a part and parcel of your game.
Hmm.
So I've had a session wherein I was doing an event for a group of college students, and they said, "Let's test, ma'am. Let's see what she can't do, and let's see." So they ganged up. You know how college people are. They're all friends, so they ganged up. And there was an act which I was performing for them, wherein they randomly taken chits of different actors, actresses, etc. And then
Hmm.
I try to, with their body language and etc., how what they are thinking of, or which name they're thinking of, etc. So I was about 5 or 6 people in the audience. They actually picked up random chits and thought of
Hmm.
the names in their minds. So 4 of them, I was able to guess the names of what they were thinking of correctly. The fifth one was getting very difficult because what I was getting in my mind was, at one point I will get a different name, then I will get a different name, then I will get a different name, then I will get a different name. And it was just so confusing for me that I was really not able to understand it.
Hmm.
And then finally, I said, you know what? I'm getting a lot of names. Why don't you just focus on one of the names? Just focus on one name very strongly so that, the energy on that name is much higher. Focus on
Hmm.
that. And I was focusing, and I'm getting the name Vidya Balan in my mind.
Hmm.
And I said, you're thinking of Vidya Balan now. I'm getting one thought, one idea. It's Vidya Balan that you're thinking of. And the person said, no, you're wrong. And he shows me, opens the chit and says, hey, it's Aishwarya Rai. You are wrong. And I say, taken, I'm wrong. I'm so sorry. I don't think I got into your mind, but not a problem. I got into 4 minds. What the, it's not always possible that you will get into the person's mind. And as soon as the event got over, the show got over, this person comes to me and says, I'm very sorry. And I said, sorry for what? I said, you didn't get the names. I said, it's okay. I mean, it happens. It's not, I can't always get it right because it's a random process. So he said, ma'am, you were right. Because though I had Aishwarya Rai on the piece of paper, I was in my mind saying Vidya Balan, Vidya Balan, Vidya Balan. And that was the name I was projecting to you. So you do get it right. But these kind of things actually happen. So I think
You have all kinds of people, right, who are going to like. In fact, that brings me to asking you. I mean, I can only try and imagine with, anyways, firstly, you are on stage. Yeah, like very often people tell me, Avneet, you're a public speaker, you're on stage so often. How do you do it? Don't you feel nervous? Don't you get butterflies in your stomach, etc.? Firstly, you're on stage. Secondly, you don't know who's going to show up, how that's going to go. How do you personally deal with that anxiety when things are not in your control? How do you self manage?
so. There's just this beautiful statement. Can you control it? If the answer
Hmm.
is yes, you will be able to control it. You ask yourself this question again: can you control it? If the answer is no, you anyways can't control it. Then why bother?
So I think that's again bringing me to whatever you have your influence on, worry about that, take corrective action on that, do what you can with what you have your influence on. But what is not in your influence, in fact, you reminded me of an activity that we do, the spheres of influence. I don't know. So basically, you can probably people say that, oh, my circumstances, this happened to me, and whatever, it changed my life. The same person who could have met two different people could have met with the same accident. Let's say both of them lost a leg. One person climbs the Everest, whereas the other doesn't. Why? And there was a study done where they proved that two things. Number one was whatever happened, the interpretation or the story that they told themselves, the meaning that they gave to that story, which also stemmed from this is not in my influence, but the way I respond to it is in my control. So I think that kind of, I hope you're picking up where I'm coming
Yes,
from.
yes, of course. Of course, I get what you want to say, and that's exactly what it is, because it's all here. It's all in your mind. It's the way you think, what you want to do. A lot of people will tell you a lot of things, but if you believe in yourself, then go ahead and do it, because nothing's going to stop you. And what is it like? Honestly, I'll say that what is it that you really have to lose? None of us, no matter what we do in our lives, are going to go alive out of this earth or out of this
So,
world. So then what I really don't understand, what are we really bothered about? If something, you're living your own life, if there's something that you want to do which excites you, which is positive, and which you feel that yes, it's going to take you to the next level from where you are, then just go ahead and do it. I mean, I'll just share a small personal experience that I had. Is a couple of years back, I was in the US, and I wanted to actually do skydiving.
hmm,
And I was alone. Like, I was genuinely alone. My parents were not there, or I didn't have any relatives or anybody around me or anything. So I said I want to do this. And so I had one relative who lives on the other end of US, and I said, Uncle, do you think I should do this? Because you're scared, right? You're just going to be going up and jumping.
jumping
Uh,
off.
you're scared. So should I be doing this? So he's telling me, please check the licenses, please check how good they are, how bad. I said, it's just an ad in the newspaper. I can't check all these things.
Hmm.
I just have to, and I have to make the payment also online via my credit card or something. So I can't really be doing all these things. He said, think about it, think twice, think thrice. I said, I don't know what to do. I called up my dad and I said, Dad, this is the thing. What do I do? He said, you want to do it? I said, yeah. Then go jump.
Hmm.
And I said, are you sure? And I said, yes, of course I want to do it. He said, go and jump. So till this, there was no problem. The next day, we all went to the place. And again, it was a very interesting story, because on the way to the airport, every single person discouraged me for this. And I was really scared to death,
Hmm.
because the moment I sat in the cab to go to the location for pickup, the taxi driver, because it was very early in the morning, the taxi driver said, are you going for skydiving today? I said, yes, 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 I'm very excited. I wouldn't do that. Then I reached the place, the pickup point, and I'm the only one sitting there. There's nobody around me. And I was like, am I only the mad one who's going in for skydiving here? And then the car comes, and the first thing that they hand us is a form which says, we will not be responsible for anything that happens to you. And I'm like, thank you so much for this wonderful welcome. Till then, also, we were like, okay, made some new friends. We're like, oh, yes, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. The moment the first sortie goes up, and they say, why don't you just come outside and look at, the first round of group of people jumping in. And we're all, five of us who was going to go in the second round, we're all looking up, and we can't see anything in the sky. And I was like, what do we see up? They say, can you see those black dots?
That's
So
you.
around
It's gonna be you.
21,000 feet above, there were these people falling, which were looking like black dots to us from ground. And we said, do we have any provisions of getting our money back at this point of time? And they said, sorry, it's your time to be on the flight. Go. But
Hmm.
when I did this, I think they were the best. The first 2 minutes are actually like the free fall, which were the best 2 minutes of my life. And I think even till date, I haven't experienced anything more thrilling or more amazing than that. So I think there's another learning that you get. If it doesn't scare you, I don't know if
That's
it's really
true.
worth it. Yeah, so you should. And I did this in Vegas. So they have a very beautiful caption line, which I loved, which I'd like to also share with you. Which said, "Why gamble with money when you can gamble with life?"
Nice.
So I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think you should experience life to the fullest, and you should do things which just make you a much better person than what you are. So if you're on level one, your competition is always with yourself. It's not with your neighbors, not with who's next to you, around you, etc. It's always with yourself. If you can be a better version of yourself tomorrow, then please go ahead and do that. And if by
Mhm.
doing all these things makes you a much better version of yourself, please go and do that, because nobody else is going to make you a better version of yourself. People are only going to try to either bind you or try to keep you in a space where you may feel that, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this, oh, you are free to do whatever you want to, but oh, are you sure you want to do this? So I just feel that you should keep your mind in a space how you can be better than yourself, and believe me, that gives you a different level of mindset and shift in your mindset, which nobody or nothing else can give you.
I'm hearing so many different nuggets of wisdom there, which is be your own, you know, confident, your own comparison, and push yourself to do what you need to do for yourself rather than, there's one thing that I tell people that one of the most common mindset patterns, limiting mindset patterns, is comparisonitis. And a lot of us tend to, lose half the battle there because we're so busy either pressuring ourselves to be better than someone, pretending to be someone that you're not, and by the time it's time for you to be you, uh, you know it's I mean, you've lost the time. And
Exactly.
I
Be
have a
you,
question.
you, because everybody else is taken. It's you, whoever you are Avneet. So there's only one Avneet with your combination. There is no
Mm,
other Avneet with your combination. We're all unique. And I mean, God has made us like that. We all have different facial features, are different, our fingerprints are different, everything is different. When we are so unique naturally, why do we want to be like someone? So I really, a lot of times people tell me, you should be like this person, or you should be like this person. But why? I mean, why? Like, for example, why do you want to be example, of course, Amitabh Bachchan is considered the god of acting. But why be like Amitabh Bachchan? Why not be yourself? Why can't I be Kruti Parekh? Maybe the field, even if I want to make a name, say in acting, it's
mm,
okay. But I need to be myself. I need to be Kruti Parekh. I don't need to be an Amitabh Bachchan. And I don't like, that's one thing I don't personally like, is that a lot of people try to copy these so-called superstars, and they try to say that I am a superstar. No, you are not a superstar. He
mm.
made himself what he is from whatever he had. If you look at Mr. Amitabh Bachchan's story, people refused him. You are, for his voice, for his height, actors are not like that. But he made it to the top with all that, right?
And we love him for the same factors today, which is so wicked.
Exactly, exactly. So then why do you want to be? So there are a lot of people who try to imitate, I mean, and be like some other actor. Don't be that, be yourself. And people will like you if you have the dedication, people will like you for who you are.
Dr. Kriti, what is influence according to you?
Huh. Influence. Basically, influence is being able to understand what the other person is going to like make a choice on. So,
Mm,
and being able to then match your expectations with their performances to be able to get a match. Now, to give you an example, this is a very complicated statement, so I'm going to give you an
mm,
example. Say, for example, so to give you an example, if I want you to select a rose,
mm,
if I can tell you that, hey, what color lipstick are you wearing?
mm.
What color lipstick are you wearing? No, I mean, give me an
Yes.
answer.
Purple.
Oh, purple. Ah, now you're getting it. All right, purple. Purple is a combination of which colors?
Blue and red,
And
I think.
red. Right, wonderful. Now, red is the color. Can you tell me? the most common flower that you can tell me with the color red?
Rose.
Exactly. So if I want you to choose rose,
It
if I
hardly
can,
be there.
so I'm just influencing you to come to the choice that I want you to come to. It's a simple way.
I want you to apply this to a real life scenario. Yeah. So today, when we are, today they say that on an average, a normal person, whether with advertising, whether with, film stars that you mentioned, whether with social media, we're being influenced all the time. Now, there are positive influences and there are negative influences. You're talking about influence from the perspective of your act, from what you do in your profession as a mentalist. But in terms of influence as a generic theme, how can, number one, we be influenced or we decipher when to get influenced and when not to?
Okay. So I'm going to again break this question of yours. Come back to your previous question. You said that this I'm saying this with respect to my performance, but no, you're wrong. This is
Okay.
exactly what happens in a real life situation also. But I just explained to you with this simple example, which was easy for you to relate to, like understand. Oh, this is how this process goes.
Hmm.
Now, do you know that when you go to your shopping malls or the departmental stores, the order in which the clothes are kept is kept in order to influence your mind?
Absolutely.
Which product will be kept at the entrance, which product will be kept at the last shelf is all decided based on the person and how the person thinks.
Hmm.
Why are those small, those chewing gums and stuff kept near the cash counters? Have you ever thought about it?
I know
This
it's
is
funny
all
all the time.
influence marketing,
Hmm.
because it's all decided that this is how. So when you're going at the last moment and they say, oh, oh, I have this much left, oh, I was supposed to pick this chewing gum, okay, give me the chewing gum also.
Hmm.
This is again playing with the mindset, playing with the influencing of the mind.
Absolutely.
So that's exactly how we work. That's exactly how everything in your life is thought, processed, and influenced. For example, a lot of advertisements are based on children,
Hmm.
because if the child in the house demands for something,
The
the
parents will get.
probability of it being agreed upon is much higher. Like, I'll give you an example without naming any brands. There is a soap brand, hand washing soap brand, which has kids in it. What is a soap brand got to do with kids? Is it only a kid friendly soap? No, it's a general soap. But if the kid in the house says, I want this soap, the probability becomes higher for the family to buy that soap.
I get
If,
you.
yeah, so that's exactly what is the influence technique which is being used all the time. For whether it's marketing, whether it's influencing, it's the same thing. Whether using brand names or using what do you say, big star icons, like using stars for why, if the product, I have a question, if the product is so good, why can't a normal human being whose face is not really even known or something can do the same thing and still achieve it? So these are all influence techniques.
For sure, because that's what I think the human mind is drawn to facets, personalities, people, colors, so many different, I mean, sensory ways to
I,
influence people.
I'll bring one more point out. And again, another point is very important is association.
Hmm.
Because associate to certain things. Generally, in our cultures, we associate ourselves to some certain things. To give you an example, uh, let me give you an example, like a brand which is, like a Chawanprash brand will have
Hmm.
a healthy title to that name.
Hmm.
It won't have a title which is talking about bad health.
Hmm.
Like if you talk about anything which is more positive or about that product. Like you won't have something, I'm not just getting a name to or a brand name to give you a reference onto, but it's just like everything that you have in your houses, it has a name which has an associate. So like for example, if you it is something Indian, you will have the name Lakshmi, Saraswati, things like that.
Hmm.
Like a gold jewelry thing, there'll be more like Lakshmi, Saraswati, that kind of names. You won't have, okay, let me give you the, like for example, you will have a good a bank's name which also means about saving, or like you'll have like having positive things. You won't have bankrupt bank.
Hmm.
Nobody's going to put money in the bankrupt bank. The
I
names are all
agree.
either company names or they are names which will have this kind of thing, like Dhan Lakshmi Bank. Or,
Hmm.
people are motivated to put money into it. I haven't heard of a bank which says Insolvency Bank.
Right.
And people are very happily and readily putting money into it.
So
So
it's
these
about
are
spreading an idea, it's about creating an association, it's about leading people to take action. If you were
exactly.
to say one thing, how can mentalism or how can influence be used to push people to take positive action? What is one tip or one takeaway that you can help people?
Positive action and
How can,
influence.
how can influence be used to drive positive action? How can
The
we
first
influence
thing, the
ourselves?
first thing that you have to do is tell everybody positive words.
Hmm.
Don't tell. So for example, when we say we always say in our language, if you see, we always say fir milenge. We don't have a term called bye bye, don't meet again.
Hmm.
We always have fir milenge. Take any Indian language, it always
Hmm.
talks about the same thing. It's again a positive affirmation. All our mantras that we have in Sanskrit are positive affirmations. May always good happen to us.
Hmm.
You take any mantra,
Hmm.
no mantra says no, all bad things should happen to you. So the first thing on influence is be positive, make positive statements. That's the first way of influencing people, because people also want a positive energy. There's a lot of negativity that is already there within them, but if you can be a positive influence on somebody's life, that influence is something that they will want to come to, they will want to take back from themselves. And
Very
that's
true.
what is very important.
Because words have energy and power, and words can drive what swords cannot, is something that I personally believe in. Using the power of your language, whether it's internal or external, to really get people to do stuff they want to do. Dr. Kruti, if you were to give the most influential awards, top three candidates, yeah, let's say there is the most influential awards, magic. Magic Care Awards, like Filmfare, there's Magic Care, or
Uh-huh.
anything you can think of. Who would you give it to?
So, I mean, you say the people or
Three
uh,
most influential people according to you
in this
who've had
entire world, three
positive
most
influence.
influential people
Yeah, three people who have had the most amount of positive influence.
on me or on people in general or would have on general?
However,
Mm, so, I will say the first award always goes to your parents, because
beautiful.
they always shape the way you think, feel, hear, and how you interact with the world. So I think the first one always goes to that. The second one goes to I won't give this to a person really, but I will put this onto three, the other one, the other two onto really qualities. The second one always goes to experiences,
Hmm.
because the experiences that you have are the most influential things that you will go through in your life.
So true.
And the third thing that I would like to say is um I'll say your, okay, it's a difficult word to say, but I'll say your religion,
Hmm.
because your religion somewhere really influences you to take actions and decisions,
Your belief
which
system. Yeah,
is your belief, is your belief system. So I think these are the three things. And as far as the people are concerned, they're also driven by all these three factors.
so
So it
true.
really really doesn't really matter onto it. But if you also come to people, I will say there's one person who's really been influencing me recently, and I really love the way she's been working, is Priyanka Chopra in current times,
Hmm.
wherein I feel that she has actually lived whatever I have been saying till now in terms of be a better version of yourself, or believe in yourself, or all these things. She's actually lived the entire path, and every time that people said now what,
Hmm.
she's broken the stereotypes and she's gone to the next level. So I think currently she's one person who has really influenced me. Influence, or I would say influence is not the right word, but surely inspired me to think beyond. And obviously in life I've met so many wonderful people who have kind of shaped the way I think, the way I interact with people, etc.
That was a strong one. Thank you, Dr. Kruti.
Thank you.
Guys, I have 8 minutes to go before I close our episode today. I am going to go into Q&A. So now is the time. If you have any questions, hit the comments box, ask Dr. Kruti your questions, maybe learn a trick or two if that's what you want to do. But before that, until those questions come in, I have a question, Dr. Kruti, which is, with in terms of influence, there's certainly so many things that we are influenced by, whether people, experiences, advertising, etc., that happens to us on a daily basis. But if today we do not want to be influenced, or we want to, hold the baton in our hand and, choose what to take influence or not from, how do we not get influenced? What is your first aid kit?
The first take that I would always say to not getting influenced by anything is knowing what you want.
Clarity. Hmm.
Very important. Second thing is think out of the box. So if any kind of an influence offer is put in front of you, you need to know firstly, do you want it or you don't want it? Because a lot of times there's a lot of herd mentality. Because somebody else is doing it, we go and do that.
Right.
So think, do you want it? Don't want it, not required. You don't go ahead. So it doesn't excite you.
Hmm.
The second thing is always think about all the aspects before you actually take a decision. Very
Hmm.
important. Don't just act on impulse. We will. So a lot of times in my events and stuff, I make the audience go to that level that they get into that impulsive mode.
Hmm.
But if I can calm down and think at that point of time, I will not be influenced. You have the power of what you want to do. It's just about holding the power and doing what you want to. So I'm going
Beautiful.
to do one small thing. I'm going to influence your mind right now. I
Hmm.
am going. Uh, okay, I am going to do this for you right now. I have this envelope. Can you see this envelope
I can.
right here?
Yeah.
Let me just put it on something so that you can actually see that. Right? Can you see this envelope?
I
Perfect.
can.
Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is I am going to ask you to think of any three words and tell me, just say aloud any three words.
Love, beauty, and nature. It was my
Love, beauty.
shower gel this morning.
Okay, love, beauty, and nature. Okay, just repeat love, beauty, nature, love, beauty, nature. Just repeat it.
Love, beauty, nature. Love, beauty, nature. Love, beauty,
Okay.
nature.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So I have this blank sheet. I'm gonna
Yeah.
write something down on this. Okay. So I have written down something on it, and I am going to take this envelope and I'm going to put it right here inside this.
Okay.
There is no way you know at this point of time what I have written down. Is that correct?
Correct.
But knowing you, speaking to you for some time,
Hmm.
what if I tell you that I know I'm going to ask you to think of one word out of love, beauty, and nature in your mind? Okay. And what if I tell you that I'm going to also try and influence you to do that? And because I've already written it down and put it in this envelope. So there's no way I can change it.
Hmm.
Tell me, tell me, what is the word now that you're thinking of?
Love.
Love is what you are thinking of. Would you be amazed if the word that is put inside this envelope is love?
I know you can do it.
It's just a simple process, a simple thing. I am just going to open this envelope, bring out this sheet which I wrote in front of you, and put it inside.
Hmm. La la. Is that because it was the first, or is it because there was a suggestive technique, or was it because of my voice tonality where I put more
So
voice
wait,
stress in it?
I'll tell you this. The moment you say love, I don't know why, but there was this thing about you that there is love which is more important to you in your life than beauty and nature.
So true. So true. It is the
And that's
most
why
important
your
to me.
association with love is much more stronger than everything else. And believe me, this is not something we've decided, nothing. This is just happening randomly. And you haven't even told me things about your life or anything. Is that right?
Yeah, I refrained. I was like, she's going to know everything already, so I might as well hold myself back from giving my, secrets on a platter. Okay, Dr. Kruti, we are 1.5 minutes from closing. I have two quick questions for you.
Yes.
If we want to increase our influence on others, we want to be unforgettable, we want to be mesmerizing when we meet people. Three quick tips from you.
Um, Smile.
Hmm.
When you smile, the other person smiles back at you.
True.
A wonderful way to connect and leave a mark.
Hmm.
Be kind and gentle. There are a lot of arrogant and successful people in life. We don't need them anymore.
Hmm.
Third is have compassion and be helpful. Because I think every one of us in this world, and especially in today's time, is showing the world that they're so confident and they're so strong, they're so amazing, but they have this part within them which is broken and weak. And I think if you are able to heal that, you will leave a lasting impression on them which is going to remain in their heart. And it's not going to be project related, it's not going to be location related, it's not going to be anything of that related. It's going to be when they, in a moment of silence, think about somebody who's left a mark in their lives, your name will be number one there.
True. Beautiful. So I'm hearing being compassionate, being loving, being kind, being you, being a better version of yourself,
Smile.
smiling. There's like so many things you've said today, which is so beautifully articulated. I think that brings me to my final question for you, Dr. Kruti, today, which is, what is the single mind shift you would like every viewer to have?
A single mind shift every viewer to have is believe in yourself. That's it. It's not something difficult, because if you don't believe in yourself, why the world is going to believe in you?
Beautiful. And I must say that with your story is testimony to this, being a woman, being a mentalist, being Asia's first and only female mentalist. I cannot even begin to fathom the number of, challenges, the number of responsibilities people might have been trying to inflict you, hold you back with. But being a performer and being, I mean, I think it's crazy what you're doing, with having a course, having your own academy, with doing the phenomenal work that you're doing. And I'm sending you so much heart, power, and energy from here in the UAE. Like, power on. God bless.
Received. Received.
Lovely, Dr. Kruti. It's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to see you on the other side.
Pleasure. Thank you. Bye bye.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, today has been a phenomenal session for all you guys who may just probably joined the stream. This is the one you want to roll back and listen to because we've been talking about how you can increase your influence. You understand how influence works in the human mind. Today with so many different people, circumstances, advertising, the impact it has on us, and in fact, Dr. Kruti even spoke about skills and tips and strategies and things that you can do to really use this in your favor. So I hope today's session has been an insightful one. Until next fortnight, this is Avneet Kohli taking your leave. Take care.